Our Guernsey County dispatchers are the 911 responders for every call. They're the first person you're going to hear on the phone, and they have to gather all the information that we need, which is a very crucial part to the sheriff's office.
Hi, I'm Jeff Hannon, dispatch supervisor here at the Guernsey County Sheriff's Office. Today we're going to show you what it's like to be a dispatcher. First thing we do in the morning or at the beginning of our shift is we ask the fellow dispatchers what happened during their shift.
We had 7 medical calls last night, 3 fire calls. You guys had 2 traffic stops. It got 2 people on warrants brought them to jail. We had a domestic, a well-being check, and a couple of noise complaints. Your units today, 19, 27, 14, and 24.
Very good. So the next thing I do when I get here in the morning is I log into all the systems that we have, such as our CAD, 911 system, radio system, and I also get my headset out and connect it to my receiver. This allows us to listen to the radio, phone calls, talk on the radio, all that good stuff. This middle screen here is our CAD system that we use to assist the dispatchers in locating people who call 911 and keeping our call records. CAD stands for Computer Aided Dispatching. And what we can do is monitor the calls that are coming in. And this also maps out where these calls are. For instance, this is a road closure. So that way responding units can quickly look at their map and see that that road is closed. When a 911 call comes in, it will pop up with a circle around that caller's location telling us approximately where they are at. The CAD also displays where the deputies are at all times when they are on duty. Our CAD system tells the dispatcher who should respond to what areas and who would be the quickest to get there. So if we click on Meadowbrook High School, it will tell us that your law enforcement agency for there is Guernsey Sheriff's Office, and then your primary ambulance is Byesville, second ambulance service would be United, and then your primary fire would be Byesville Fire Department. This map is connected with the local mapping system up at the admin building, so anytime they do an update, it's instantaneously updated with our system as well. This is Vesta. It is our phone system with the 911 is integrated in it as well. As you can see here, this is kind of like our phone book. It has in-office extensions as well as out-of-office phone numbers that can be called other counties, other agencies, emergency lines for utility companies. This also does receive our 911 texts. They would pop up here. Also has TTY, which is teletypewriter. This is for hearing impaired or speech impaired people in case they need to get a hold of 911 and they need to communicate with us, they can do so with TTY. This system also allows you to instantly replay a call that you have received. So that way if we need to go back and listen to it, we can. We also can adjust the volume, we can adjust the pitch. We can slow things down so that way we can maybe hear something that we missed before. When we get a 911 call in this system, we will have some information pop up on the screen over here, such as the phone number, the nearest tower that phone's heading off of, and then it will also give us the latitude and longitude of that phone. This here is our radio screen. This allows us to communicate with our deputies, local law enforcement, fire departments, ambulance services. It also has the ability to monitor the schools in the county, so that way if they have an emergency, they're able to quickly hit a button and it'll alert the entire dispatch center that something's going on there. This screen here is where we do our fire paging. So any fire department that needs toned out for the firefighters, or EMS personnel to respond to their stations, that's where we would click the button and it would send a special tone over the radio frequency to their pager. I'll give you an example of what a tone sounds like that the fire departments receive. Use a channel that no one else can hear. So after that tone gets dropped, we would then just say what the emergency is, where it's located at, and any other pertinent information that they would need to know. This radio system also allows us to do what's called patching. It basically lets us combine 2 or more channels together to make it one channel. So if we had another agency come into our area and they only had XSO30 programmed into their radios and we only had XSO30 dispatch programmed, we'd be able to combine those channels together, so now everybody can talk to each other without having to switch channels. This screen is where the dispatcher can access the LEAD system. Unfortunately, we're unable to show that to you, but LEAD stands for Law Enforcement Automated Data System. What that does is allows the dispatcher to access a nationwide system to where if somebody's wanted, if it's a stolen car, stolen gun, if they have a concealed carry permit, there's a bunch of information that can come through this system.
Our 911 system, we have a great staff. They're dedicated to what they do. They're great people. They care about what they do. Some of the new stuff that we have here at the Sheriff's Office with our 911 system is the Marks radio system, Smart 911, Text to 911. The dispatchers are also emergency medical trained. They're emergency medical dispatchers, so they can give medical advice over the phone to help save lives. So when you think of dispatchers, you might just think they just answer radios. That's not true. They get the first response to any call that they receive, whether it be a shooting, a death call, a person trapped in a car. And since they're EMD certified now, they might be given CPR. It's a really tough situation for our dispatchers to go through, especially when they lose a person on the phone. But the gratitude and the benefit to being EMD certified is they could possibly save a life on the phone, which they have done also.
When a person calls 911, I'm one of the dispatchers who answers the call. 911, where is the location of your emergency? The first thing I need to know is where the emergency is in case I lose the call. Then I ask questions to find out what is going on and who I need to send, whether police, fire, or EMS. As I'm talking to the caller and gathering information, I'm typing it into the CAD, and the other dispatcher is reading all of the information from the CAD and dispatching the appropriate agencies to the call.
To be a good call taker, you have to be able to take multiple calls at one time. You have to be able to type accurately and keep yourself calm while keeping the caller calm.
Besides hearing a call over the radio, all the deputies can see the information in real time as the dispatcher is typing. The Cruiser CAD system takes that information as it is coming in and reads it out loud to the deputies as they are responding and allowing them to keep both hands on the wheel.
Our environment is very unpredictable. We can go from having a very quiet day without much going on, and in a blink of an eye, we can have a high priority incident that may take several hours. The dispatchers may not be able to leave their stations or take a break until the incident is completed. Quite frequently, we go from one priority call to another and even have multiple priority calls going on all at once.
As deputies, we rely on dispatchers a lot, probably a lot more than what most people think. When the dispatchers, when they receive a call, that dispatcher, they already know what information they need to get while we're responding to the call. And not only do they have to get the information, but their voice, that's the only voice that we hear as we're responding. So when they stay calm, that's our calm going to the call. So that helps out a lot.
We are with them at 4 in the morning when they're out patrolling the most desolate part of the county. We are their lifeline. We are the voice at the other end of the radio. No matter what happens, we continue to stay calm and get the help that they need.
Our old dispatch area had one dispatcher to answer for 13 fire departments, 4 law enforcement agencies, the Guernsey County Sheriff's Office, answer all calls in the lobby, and answer all radio traffic, which was quite a big burden on one person, and really not efficient. With our old system, the old way, the one person that's sitting in dispatch could never do that because of all the other answering the phone calls, answering the radio traffic. There's no way they could give that kind of medical advice over the phone.
The new dispatch versus the old dispatch is a lot different. The old dispatch, we had one dispatcher, and that one dispatcher would take all of the 911 calls that came in. They would take all of the landline calls that came in. They would deal with everybody at the window. It was just you. You was the only dispatcher there. You did your best and got the help to the calls. You prioritized the calls, and you just did the best that you could.
So when the state came down with the regulations that we had to have 2 dispatchers, that alleviated that stress on one person. So the one person that's going to give emergency medical advice will be doing that by themselves on the phone while the other person answers all the phone calls, radio traffic, etc. I've been working here for approximately 26 years, quite a long time. With the old dispatch system is that when a dispatcher called off, I as a deputy would work in dispatch, which would then create less deputies on the road. And I wasn't trained as well as a dispatcher, but that's just how we had to do it back in the day with dispatching. That would not work in today's society because the technology is so advanced in dispatching that we have to have specialized dispatchers go through a bunch of training in order to know how to run the equipment and how to give EMD service.
With the new dispatch, we have 2, sometimes 3 dispatchers on shift, which makes a big difference. We help each other out. One call taker will take the calls, the other will dispatch for it. That way you don't have to hurry up and hang up from them because you have to answer another phone. We had a paper map. We had to look at the map and try to figure out exactly where they were at on the road. You would, if there was a house fire, you would have to find out the location, and then you would have to pull out your book, and you would have to look in your book and cross-reference the location with what fire department's coverage it would be, and then who would be the next fire department who would assist them.
Our dispatcher positions are extremely stressful. They take call after call, hearing things that to that person is the worst day of their life, and they get them the help they need. It is through this technology and their training that makes them commensurate professionals. That's why our 911 system is so important, because our dispatchers are truly the first responders to every call.
It is one of the finest 911 centers around the country, and certainly one of the finest in the state. For our small county, it is very functional and is very well planned. We are indebted and truly grateful to the citizens of Guernsey County for putting their trust in us.